Hey, Bob here. My bad. It's been a while since I uploaded a full video due to a mix of procrastination in school. Mainly procrastination, but anyways, as you can tell from the intro, I'll be reviewing the super hyped up QK65, which has been dubbed the best entry keyboard into this hobby. Here's a quick unboxing. It's shipped within a cardboard box. The bottom segment contains the carrying case, which has the keyboard within. The top segment features a nice coiled cable, a full set of outlap stabilizers, and some screws along with a multi-purpose screwdriver. Before we move on, a quick word from my sponsor, PCBWay. PCBWay is a one-stop shop for all your DIY tech projects. They offer advanced PCB prototyping, manufacturing, assembly, and populating. On top of that, they provide 3D printing, sheet metal fabrication, injection molding, and CNC machining. Each of these categories also have many options related towards their service. For example, for CNC machining, you can choose from a variety of finishes, materials, and level of precision. The website and ordering process is relatively straightforward, and their prices are very competitive. If you're interested to learn more, the link to their website will be in the description. Right, back to the video. Opening up the carrying case, you're greeted with all the parts. Let's take everything out first. So these are the silicone gaskets. They provide you with two options, gasket socks and gasket jackets. We'll talk more about the differences later on. Next, you have the rubber feet, a card with QR codes to a build guide and their Discord server, PCB standoffs, foam sheet, the PCB itself, and Poron plate foam. For the plate, I went with the FR4 one, but they also offer palm in aluminum. As you can see, there are plenty of flex cuts allowing for a softer typing experience. Finally, we can move on to the star of this video, the case. I have mine in black chroma as I love the unique backplate. Unpackaging it reveals more foam, case foam, and a dense silicone dampening mat. With that out of the way, we can take a closer look. The case is made of three parts: the top case, bottom case, and weight. The top case is made from CNC'd aluminum, and the anodization looks absolutely amazing, no imperfections at all. It features a 7.5 degree typing angle and a sleek side profile. The bottom case is made of a cast aluminum, not as premium as the CNC method, however this part is not visible when built anyways and help keeps costs down. Taking a look at the back, you can catch a glimpse of the steel weight. This curved L design allows it to elegantly fit with the case while providing a pleasing aesthetic. Flipping it over, we can get a full view of the steel weight, which is PVD coated similar to spray coating. Once again, the quality is perfect with no defects. One thing I found really cool was that every black chroma weight has a slightly different gradient, meaning each one is unique. In addition, the weight fits just right, no gaps or interference. Here's a more detailed look at the PCB. It is designed in-house by QWERTY Keys themselves. Here I have the hot swap version, but they offer a soldered one as well. Like the plate, it features flex cuts throughout for a softer typing feel, which is nice to see. It does not use a daughter board for a USB-C port, but instead it's soldered on, located in the middle of the PCB. It would have been nicer to see them use a daughter board instead, however, from testing, the case cutout had just enough space so the flex would not be compromised. Onto the technical specs, it uses south-facing KL hot swap sockets and VIA and QMK support. And no, it does not feature any RGB or lighting. Now that we've checked everything out, let's get to the build. I started off by modding the included outlap stabilizers, and just like that, they're now wired balanced and looped. One thing I wanted to mention was that the wire ends are well rounded. I assumed they sanded them down or something, which is a nice touch other stabilizers oversee. I also wanted to point out that you should not wholly mod outlap stabilizers. Their stems already have tighter tolerances compared to, let's say, the Duroc V2s. If you do, they will become super sluggish and mushy even after a period of use. Trust me, I've tried it. The kit does come with stabilizer pads, however I won't be using them as it leads to mushiness. It also comes with these little silicone nubs that sit under the wire and supposedly reduce movement. Alright, so you might have noticed that I'm finally using an electric screwdriver like all the other keyboard content creators. If you're constantly working with small screws, it's definitely a game changer. This was kindly sent over by Hekka, an upcoming e-commerce store similar to the likes of AliExpress. They are authorized retailers of large companies such as Xiaomi, OnePlus, Lenovo, and many more. In addition, they offer competitive prices and a wide variety of tech/everyday life products. Their website and the screwdriver will be linked in the description along with a $10 coupon. So if you're interested, be sure to check it out. Anyways, now that the stabilizers have been installed, I insert some switches and keycaps to test. And as you can tell, these weren't perfect on the first try, so here's a time lapse of me trying to fix them. Unfortunately, even after 45 minutes of tinkering, they still had some noticeable ticking. I honestly didn't care anymore as it was getting frustrating, so I just left them as is. I'll probably replace these with a set of Durock V2s in the future. Anyways, proceeding with the build, I installed the PE foam only to realize that there's missing cutouts and the stabilizers need to sit underneath it. So after fixing that off camera, I layer the plate foam along with the FR4 plate. The switches I'll be using in this build are the Gator Oil Kings. Their deeper tones will nicely complement the PE foam. You might have noticed that I'm using boba U4Ts on the modifiers. That's because the tactility and long stem pull should sort of help eliminate the rattle, hopefully. Once that's done, I fit on the gasket socks. I'll be trying the jackets later on as well. Right, with the PCB assembly done, I move on to installing it into the case. Before I disassemble it, I want to demonstrate how this case has little to no picking, even without the silicone pad. I assume this is due to the heavy steel weight, keeping internal vibrations down. Anyways, unscrewing 4 screws allows us to remove the weight. As you can see, the inside of the weight is now coated with the paint, another clever cost-saving measure. I also wanted to mention that the weight itself is actually heavier than the case, which is something I didn't expect. Anyways, removing 8 more screws frees the bottom case from the top case. The inner case is also flawless, no imperfections or machining marks. I place a PCB onto the bottom case, but notice that the plate foam interferes with the fitting. If I remember correctly, Near Lucid also had this issue with his prototype QK65, so I like to see them fix this in the future. I tried stuffing the foam in, but it didn't work, so I just ended up trimming off the edges. Now that everything fits right, I re-screw the case together and install the bottom feet. For the keycaps, I went with GMK Black Lotus clones, and man, I gotta say, these are probably the best clone colorway I've gotten so far. The colors are super vibrant, and I even had a few people ask me if these are a real set. Aside from that, like the other clone sets I've used, these are great for the price, double shot ABS, crisp, consistent legends, and overall quality feel. After quickly installing the keycaps, here's a sound test. I gotta say, this board sounds amazing. I personally favor a higher pitched sound, but something about this build just pulls me towards it. I assume it's mainly due to the marbly sound produced by PE foam. While some people might dislike the use of PE foam, I personally think it elevates the acoustics of entry-level boards. I will agree that PE foam does result in boards sounding more similar, but there is still a touch of personality from one to another. Specifically, in the QK65, I noticed that it maintains a nice balance between the upper and lower frequencies, even with the PE foam. But at the end of the day, this hobby is based around preference. Ultimately, whichever satisfies you is the best. Between the two types of gaskets, the jackets made the board sound the slightest bit deeper, mainly noticeable in the spacebar. The jackets reduce flex as well, not that there is much with the socks though. Now you may be wondering why this whole time in the back I was disassembling the board again. This is because I wanted to try using Poron Gaskets instead and see if the results would change. Theoretically, it should lead to higher pitch and increased flex. Once all the strips were installed, I closed up the case to test, only to be disappointed with the limited flex despite the changes. So I opened it back up, removed the top gaskets, and cut them in half height-wise. This reduces compression on the bottom gaskets when everything is assembled. I tested it and it looks better than before. So I cleaned everything up, installed the weight, and here's the Poron Gasket sound test. Right, so compared to the gasket socks, the Poron Gaskets resulted in the most minute change in pitch towards the higher frequency. I say that the difference is so small that honestly you wouldn't even notice the difference unless your ears are right beside the board. There's also very little difference in terms of flex, if not the same. So my conclusion is that don't bother wasting your time trying the Poron Gaskets like I did. The results will be very minuscule from the gasket socks. Okay, now that I'm done with this little experiment, I wanted to talk about one catch with this board. QWERTY states that this board starts at 160 USD, which is an amazing price. However, the shipping is hella expensive at 41 USD to Canada. I assume the price is also similar to US buyers as well. I have heard that shipping to EU countries and Asia is a bit less, but still relatively expensive. With that in mind, the starting price is essentially closer to 200 USD rather than the mentioned 160. However, for me at least, I was charged even more due to import fees, which were around 26 USD. Of course, these fees vary from country to country, but I'm just sharing my experience. So for me, the total cost of my QK65 came up to around 227 USD. Although this price isn't so budget friendly anymore, I still say this keyboard is worth it. I wouldn't call it a steal, rather reasonably priced. The board is overall solid, amazing build quality, pleasing aesthetics, straightforward to build, and easy customizability. If you have the budget to spare, I highly recommend the QK65. Round 2 will be running soon with many more colors and combinations. I'll have the QWERTY Keys Discord in the description, and as always, thanks for watching.